Sausage.
Hello everyone, this is Attack the Backlog, the podcast where I, Mark Kuznez, tries to make a dent in their backlog one game at a time. This episode is all about One Piece Pirate Warriors for the latest game in the One Piece Musou series, aka one of those Dynasty Warriors games. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 originally came out on March 27th, 2020 for PC, PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. I'm chuckling because usually when I screw up that early on in a script reading, I would immediately start over. But I'm just gonna roll with it. Like you can roll with, I don't know who character rolls around, but there's surely a One Piece character who can get into a ball and roll around. I can't think. There's so many characters in One Piece. There may be only one piece, but there are fucking hundreds of characters. This review is a tricky one. Tricky because I played Pirate Warriors 4 after I started streaming, and because of this, I didn't play the game the way it's meant to be played. Musou games are repetitive by nature. It isn't a design flaw, but the crux of the design. However, that repetitive nature means Musou games thrive in small doses and fall apart the more you play them in one sitting. Since I was streaming the game, I played Pirate Warriors 4 for 3 or more hours at a time, and that is no way to play a Musou game. The simple gameplay of mashing buttons and watching characters you know and love hopefully beat the shit out of hundreds and thousands and millions, not literally, of enemies quickly goes from dumb fun to dumb and eventually makes you go, ugh, oh my god, this is so repetitive and boring. Which is also how you react to my jokes and my humor. First you're like, haha, it's stupid, it's dumb, but it's kind of fun. And then you're like, oh my god, this is just stupid. And then you go, oh my god, I'm just kind of embarrassed for them. I can't speak for how the developers feel, but as someone who has played well over a dozen Musou games, long sessions are not the way they're meant to be played. So I can't fault the game for me not liking it that much, only myself. I did it wrong. I went to a gourmet steak joint and ate my filet mignon with A1 steak sauce. I know that's a weird analogy because I'm putting Musou games on the same level as filet mignon, but you know what I mean. It wasn't the game that messed up, but me. All that said, despite playing Pirate Warriors 4 for over 10 underwhelming hours, when I finally beat the game, I didn't exhale a sigh of relief and delete it from my hard drive. I left it right where it was, more excited than ever because I was now free to play it the way it was meant to be played, in small chunks whenever the desire struck me. As sour as I was on the game while streaming it, it didn't sour me so much that I wanted nothing more to do with it, and I think that's saying something. And let's just get one thing straight, I wasn't super sour on it. I still enjoyed it overall, and that's in part because I love One Piece, but I did get a little tired of it each night I streamed it. While just as repetitive as any other Musou game, Pirate Warriors 4 is well put together, looks great, feels great, has so many characters to play as, including the wonderful Odin if you get his DLC, and does a great job of reminding One Piece fans of why they love One Piece. The game covers 5 canonical arcs, Alabasta, Enies Lobby, Marineford, Dressrosa, and the Whole Cake Island arc, and creates its own version of the Wano arc because it was nowhere near finishing by the time the game came out. While I don't think the way it delivers its story is compelling to non-One Piece fans who, let's be honest, probably wouldn't be interested in the game anyway, its way of summarizing events is just enough to remind me of why I fell in love with One Piece in the first place and made me want to rewatch the anime from the beginning and finally read the manga as well. Certain emotional parts don't hit as hard given the fact that they come after 8 hours of repetitive gameplay and not 500 episodes of an anime. You know the specific moment I'm talking about. If you don't, you're not a One Piece fan. You definitely know this. This is something even non-One Piece fans know about, and I somehow missed, which was good for me because when it happened, I was hit like a brick wall, being punched a whole bunch of times by Luffy. But that's no surprise when the time invested is so much smaller. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 is what it is, a Musou game. If you like those and don't care about One Piece, you'll still enjoy Pirate Warriors 4. When I step back and think about it, the core action was some of the most fun I've had with a Musou game in years. Sure, it's just more of the same button mashing with occasional breaks for special attacks and the same mission structure of area control, but the lively and colorful art of One Piece, along with the more over-the-top fighting style of One Piece characters, goes a long way in keeping the basic action fun and exciting. Just don't do what I did and play it for hours at a time. If you love One Piece but hate Musou games, Pirate Warriors 4 will do do nothing to change that. It is, after all, just the same old for better or worse. On top of that, if you're one to easily get overwhelmed, the multiple skill trees and size of each one will be sure to leave you curled in a corner, crying with no idea of what to do with all the different currencies and options in front of you. There is a global skill tree and 2 individual trees for each and every character. That's right, all 52 characters, 43 in the base game and 9 in DLC, have 2 skill trees each that take hundreds of hours to max out. But I digress. But that also means, before I digress, that does mean if you like One Piece and you are a completionist, you're going to get more than your money's worth from Pirate Warriors 4. Oh boy. If you want to complete every character, bing bong. For me, I left the game excited to play more on my time, despite hating the time I put into it while streaming it. I didn't hate it. Jesus Christ, Mark, in the past, writing the script. Calm down. Don't get so flippant with your word usage. Don't get so exaggerated. I didn't hate it. I just wasn't enjoying it as much as I should have. Or could have. It's a bad game to play for hours, but not a bad game. To quote Zangief, just because One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 is bad for hours, doesn't mean One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 is bad for hours. You just have to spread those hours around and not bunch them together. Did you like that little quote? Did you get it? It's like when he was in Wreck-It Ralph and he's like, just because I'm bad guy doesn't mean I'm bad guy. I did not deliver it well, though, and it also does not work there at all. So let's just end this stupid episode. Anyway, once again, I am Mark Visionez. Y'all can find me on Twitter and pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. The site is not important right now. I mean, it's important, but what's more important is that if you'd like to see me streaming games like One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, you can do so over at twitch.tv/PX Sausage. If you'd like to check out the videos I make, like the one for this here episode of Attack the Backlog, you can do that over at youtube.com/Pixelated Sausage. Speaking of Pixelated Sausage, remember when I was like, hey, my site, but it's not important right now. It's important now. And that site, if you take that Pixelated Sausage at the end of the YouTube URL, you little dotty commie, dotty commie? You put a little dotty commie after it. What do you got? You got Pixelated Sausage.com, which is my site. And that is where you can find this podcast and the Pixelated Sausage podcast, both of which are available on podcast services across the globe. And you can also check out my art on the site. What is going on? And if you see something you like, you can purchase a print of the piece you fancy. And if you fancy the site in general and anything that we do, please go over to onepiece.com. No, go to Patreon. Patreon.com/PXS and support us that way. As always. I don't know what's happening. I'm very giggly. Giggly? Oh, God, I gotta stop this. What is I doing? Where am I? Patreon.com/PXS. You can go there. If you like anything we fancy, or you fancy what I do, we do, go to Patreon.com/PXS and support us that way. As always, thank you for watching and listening. I hope you enjoy this here episode as much as I apparently enjoy ending it. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.